Dae-ho Kim walked through the glass corridors of the embassy, watching the three suns of Nexus Prime cast rainbow patterns on the walls. For 30 years, he had called this place home. The human embassy stood as a symbol of peace in a galaxy that had forgotten how to fight wars. "Ambassador, the morning reports are ready," Bo-Ra said as she joined him near the observation deck. Her tablet showed the usual list of minor disputes between alien species. Trade disagreements, border, questions, resource conflicts, all the small problems that could become big wars if left alone. Dae-ho smiled. "Anything serious?" "The Kalari and the Threx are arguing about mining rights again. The Zephyrians want to expand their territory. Nothing we cannot handle." Bo-Ra had been his aide for 8 years. She knew every alien diplomat on the station, remembered their children's names, their favorite foods, even their fears. This was how humans had built their reputation. While other species focused on military strength or economic power, humans learned to understand. They listened. They remembered. They found solutions that made everyone happy enough to stop fighting. The communication board lit up with an urgent signal. Dae-ho frowned. Emergency calls were rare on Nexus Prime. "Incoming transmission from the Vorthak Empire," the station's AI announced. Bo-Ra looked surprised. "The Vorthak have not sent any messages in months. Their last ambassador left without explanation." Dae-ho nodded to accept the call. The hologram showed a massive alien figure. Growlthex, the Vorthak War Master, stood 8 feet tall with gray, skin like stone and eyes that glowed red. His armor bore the marks of countless battles. "War Master Growlthex," Dae-ho said with a polite bow. "It has been too long. How can humanity help the great Vorthak Empire?" Growlthex did not return the greeting. "Human ambassador, I come with final terms. Your species will withdraw from all systems claimed by the Alliance. You will surrender your colonies in the Outer Rim. You will reduce your fleet to ceremonial vessels only." The words hit Dae-ho like a physical blow. "I do not understand. What alliance? There has been no formal complaint through diplomatic channels." "The age of your talking is over, human. 6 great powers have united. The Vorthak Empire, the Kalari Federation, the Threx Dominion, the Zephyrian Collective, the Arcani Syndicate, and the hegemony of Tal. We tire of your influence." Bo-Ra stepped forward. "War Master, surely we can discuss this. Whatever problems exist, we can find a peaceful solution. This is what Nexus Prime was built for." Growlthex's laugh was like grinding metal. "Peaceful solution? You humans think every problem can be solved with words. You think you are so clever, so wise. But you are children playing with forces beyond your understanding." Dae-ho felt a cold fear in his stomach. "What forces? What have we done wrong?" "You have done nothing wrong. That is the problem." Growlthex leaned forward. "For 200 years you have stopped wars. You have made peace where there should be conflict. You have made the galaxy soft." "Soft?" Bo-Ra asked. "Before humans, species fought. The strong conquered the weak. Resources went to those who could take them. This was natural. This was right." Growlthex's eyes burned brighter. "But you humans came with your talking and your understanding. You made warriors into merchants. You turned conquerors into negotiators." Dae-ho began to understand. "You want to return to the old ways. We want to reclaim what is ours by right of strength. But your species stands in the way. Every time conflict begins, humans arrive with solutions. Every time the strong move to take what is theirs, you find ways to make the weak resist. T. War Master's image flickered as he gestured to someone off-screen. You have made the galaxy forget that might makes right. This cannot continue. The other species agreed to this? Bo-Ra asked, her voice shaking. The Kalari remember when they ruled 3 sectors before humans taught their subjects to rebel through self-determination. The Threx had claimed 12 systems before humans convinced the inhabitants they deserved freedom. Even the Zephyrians, who call you friends, know they could have twice their territory if not for human interference. Deho tried to stay calm. These species came to us for help. We did not force our solutions on anyone. You corrupted them with hope. You showed the weak that they did not have to accept their fate. This was your greatest crime. The transmission began to break up. Warning lights flashed throughout the embassy. What is happening? Bo-Ra asked, checking her tablet. The Vorthak fleet is jamming our communications, the AI reported. Multiple ships approaching the station. Growlthek smiled, showing teeth like broken glass. You have 1 hour to consider our terms. When we return, we expect your answer. Hologram vanished. Deho and Bo-Ra stared at the empty space where the War Master had stood. Contact Earth immediately, Deho ordered. Full emergency protocol. Bo-Ra's fingers flew over her tablet. I cannot get through. The jamming is too strong. Explosions shook the station. Through the observation windows, they could see Vorthak ships surrounding Nexus Prime. The alien vessels looked like metal predators, bristling with weapons. All human personnel to the command center, Deho announced over the embassy's communication system. 17 humans worked at the embassy. Diplomats, translators, cultural specialists, and support staff. They gathered in the main hall, looking scared but determined. The situation is serious, Deho told them. The Vorthak and 5 other species have formed an alliance against humanity. They want us to surrender our colonies and reduce our fleet. Will Earth agree? Asked Dr. Young-Soo Park, the embassy's alien psychology expert. I do not know, but I fear this is just the beginning. Deho looked at the faces around him. Good people who had spent their lives building bridges between species. Bo-Ra, can you access the secure files? She nodded, connecting her tablet to the embassy's main computer. I am downloading everything. All diplomatic records, intelligence reports, communication logs. More explosions rattled the station. The lights flickered. They are targeting the power grid, said engineer Min-Ho John. They want to disable our defenses. Deho activated the emergency beacon. Even through the jamming, it might reach human ships in nearby systems. Listen carefully. If something happens to me, Bo-Ra will lead the evacuation. Get to the emergency shuttles. Get this information to Earth. What about you? Bo-Ra asked. I am going to try one more time to reach Grelthex. Maybe I can buy us time. The final explosion was different. Louder. Closer. The embassy shook like it was falling apart. Hull breach in Section 7, the AI reported, its voice distorting. Atmospheric containment failing. Through the observation deck, they could see Vorthak troops boarding the station. The aliens moved with military precision, securing key areas. Deho opened a channel to the Vorthak fleet. War Master, I request safe passage for my staff. They are civilians. Growlthex appeared on screen again, but this time he was wearing full battle armor. There are no civilians in war, human. Only enemies and the dead. This is a diplomatic station. Attacking it violates every treaty in the galaxy. We have withdrawn from all treaties. The old order is dead. Gralthex looked directly at Deho. Your hour is up. What is your answer? Deho straightened his shoulders. Humanity does not surrender to threats. Then humanity will learn what happens when diplomacy fails. The screen went black. Seconds later, the embassy's main reactor exploded. In the chaos that followed, Bora managed to reach the shuttle bay. She clutched the data tablet containing proof of the Alliance's conspiracy. As her small ship fled the dying station, she sent one final message toward Earth. Peace has failed. The galaxy watches. Prepare for war. Behind her, Nexus Prime burned. The age of human diplomacy was ending. What would come next? Nobody could predict. But Bora knew one thing for certain. Humanity would not go quietly into the dark. President Jinwoo Park stood before the wall of screens in the Earth Defense Center, watching the reports come in from across human space. 3 days had passed since Bora Lee's emergency message reached Earth. 3 days since the galaxy learned that peace was dead. Madam President, we have confirmation, Fleet Admiral Soo-Jin Choi said as she entered the secure briefing room. The Nexus Prime Station is completely destroyed. No survivors except for Bora Lee. Jinwoo nodded grimly. He had known Dae-ho Kim personally. The ambassador had been a good man who truly believed words could solve any problem. Now he was dead, along with 16 other humans who had devoted their lives to peace. What about the Alliance fleet movements? Jinwoo asked. Admiral Choi activated the holographic display. Red dots appeared throughout the galaxy, showing enemy positions. 6 major powers, just as Bora reported. The Vorthak have 47. Battle fleets. The Kalari contribute 32. The others add another 61 combined. Against our, Jinwoo already knew the answer, but he needed to hear it spoken. 12 active battle fleets, plus home defense forces. We are outnumbered roughly 50-1. The room fell silent. Defense Minister Kyung-ja Song spoke first. What about our allies? The smaller species we have helped over the years? Scattered reports, Admiral Choi replied. Some are staying neutral. Others are joining the Alliance. Fear is a powerful motivator. Jinwoo turned to the man standing quietly in the corner. Dr. Woo-hyun Nam looked like a simple scientist, but he controlled humanity's most classified research projects. Doctor, it is time. Tell us about Prometheus. Dr. Nam stepped forward, his tablet connecting to the main display. For 70 years we have been preparing for this possibility. Not because we wanted war, but because we understood that peace only lasts as long as everyone chooses it. New images appeared on screen. Ships unlike anything in the current human fleet. Weapons that seemed too advanced for current technology. Soldiers in armor that looked more like machines than protection. Project Prometheus has 3 main components, Dr. Nam continued. First, advanced weapons technology. Quantum disruption torpedoes that can phase through any known shielding. Plasma cannons that draw power directly from a ship's reactor. Gravity, manipulators that can crush enemy vessels from the inside. Admiral Choi leaned forward. Why was I not informed about these weapons? Because they violate every arms limitation treaty humanity has signed, President Jinwoo said quietly. We agreed to restrict our military development as part of the Galactic Peace Accords. While secretly developing them anyway, Defense Minister Song observed. Dr. Nam nodded. The second component is stealth technology. We can make our ships nearly invisible to all known detection methods. phase shift generators that move vessels slightly out of normal space, quantum scrambling that makes targeting impossible. More. Images showed fighters that seemed to appear and disappear at will. Battleships that existed as nothing more than sensor ghosts until they opened fire. The third component is the most important, Dr. Nam said. AI-assisted battle networks. Our computers can coordinate attacks across multiple star systems simultaneously. Every human, ship, fighter, and soldier can share information instantly. We can think and react faster than any biological species. President Jin Woo studied the faces around the table. How long to activate these systems? The weapons and stealth technology are ready now. The AI networks need another week for full deployment. Dr. Nam paused. But there is something else. Something we discovered during our intelligence gathering operations. What intelligence gathering? Admiral Choi asked. Dr. Nam smiled sadly. Every diplomatic mission we ever sent gathered more than cultural information. Every trade agreement included technology exchanges that taught us about alien weaknesses. Every peace treaty we negotiated gave us access to their military capabilities. The truth hit the room like a shockwave. President Jin Woo saw understanding dawn on every face. We have been preparing for this war for 2 centuries, Dr. Nam continued. Every friendly conversation our diplomats had with alien species was also an intelligence operation. We know their psychology, their biology, their technology, their tactics. Admiral Choi stared at the display. The Alliance thinks they know humanity. They think we are weak because we choose peace. They are about to learn the difference between choosing peace and being unable to fight, President Jin Woo said. An urgent alarm interrupted the meeting. Communications Officer Hae-Young Kim's voice filled the room. Madam President, we have an emergency transmission from Captain Da-Yoon Yu. The hologram of a young woman in a ship captain's uniform appeared in the center of the table. Behind her, the bridge of her vessel showed signs of recent combat. Madam President, Captain Yu reporting from the Outer Rim. The Alliance has begun their attack. They hit New Sol Colony 4 hours ago. Her voice cracked slightly. 2 million civilians dead. The planet is gone. Silence filled the room. New Sol had been one of humanity's most beautiful colonies. Families had lived there for generations, building a peaceful society among the stars. Captain, what is your status? Admiral Choi asked. My ship, the Silent Thunder, was conducting routine patrol when the attack began. We managed to rescue some evacuation ships, but... Captain Yu stopped, collecting herself. The Vorthak fleet glassed the entire planet. They are not taking prisoners. President Jin Woo felt something cold settle in his chest. This was not a war for territory or resources. This was extermination. Captain Yu, what are the enemy fleet movements? Multiple task forces heading toward human space. Intelligence Officer Taemin Song estimates at least 6 major assault groups. Engineer Hyunji An detected unusual energy signatures from their Bader ships. They have upgraded their weapons specifically for this campaign. The transmission flickered as enemy jamming tried to cut the connection. Madam President, Captain Yu continued, they are broadcasting a message to all human colonies. Surrender immediately or face the same fate as New Sol. They are giving each world 24 hours to decide. President Jin Woo looked around the table one final time. These were good people who had spent their careers maintaining peace. Now, they would have to learn how to wage war. Admiral Choi, activate all Prometheus protocols immediately. I do not care about treaty violations anymore. Yes, Madam President. Dr. Nam, deploy every weapon, every stealth system, every AI network we have developed. Understood. Captain Yu, relay this message to all human ships and colonies. President. Jin Wu stepped closer to the hologram. The Galactic Pact is dead. The age of human diplomacy is over. From this moment forward, we are at war. Captain Yu nodded. What are our rules of engagement? President Jin Wu thought about Dai-Ho Kim, who had believed until his final moment that talking could solve any problem. He thought about the 2 million innocent people who had died on New Sol. He thought about an alliance of alien species who had decided that humanity was too dangerous to exist. There are no rules anymore, Captain. Show them what humanity truly is when we stop holding back. The transmission ended. President Jin Wu turned to Admiral Choi. How long until our fleets are ready? 48 hours for full deployment. Make it 24. The Alliance thinks they caught us sleeping. They are about to discover their mistake. As the meeting dispersed, Dr. Nam approached the President privately. Sir, once we activate these systems, there is no going back. The galaxy will see a side of humanity they never knew existed. President Jin Wu looked out the window at Earth's blue sky. Somewhere out there, human colonists were dying because they had chosen to build peaceful lives among the stars. Good, he said quietly. Let them see what they have awakened. In the depths of space, human ships began to change. Weapon systems that had been hidden for decades came online. Stealth generators activated, making entire fleets disappear from alien sensors. AI networks connected across light years, turning human forces into a single thinking weapon. The galaxy had wanted to see what lay beneath humanity's peaceful exterior. They were about to find out. Captain Dong Hyun Lee watched the Vorthak supply convoy through his ship's sensors, counting 18 heavy transports and their escort vessels. The aliens had no idea death was approaching them through the darkness of space. All systems green. Captain, his tactical officer reported. The Phantom Strike is completely invisible to their scanners. Dong Hyun nodded. 3 weeks had passed since Admiral Choi activated the Prometheus protocols. 3 weeks since humanity stopped pretending to be weak. This would be the first real test of their new capabilities. Target the escort ships first. We eliminate their protection, then destroy the transports. Dong Hyun studied the enemy formation. Fire when ready. The Phantom strikes quantum disruption. Torpedoes phased through space itself, bypassing all known defensive systems. The first Vorthak escort exploded without warning, then the second, then the third. Panic filled the alien communication channels as Dong Hyun's ship appeared from nowhere, weapons blazing. The supply convoy tried to scatter, but quantum torpedoes moved faster than thought. Within 10 minutes, 18 transport ships and 6 escort vessels were nothing but glowing debris. Not a single shot had been fired at the Phantom Strike. Sir, we are receiving a transmission from the surviving Vorthak crew pods, the communications officer announced. Put it through. The hologram showed a terrified Vorthak officer, his gray skin pale with shock. Human vessel, we surrender. Please, we have wounded aboard. Dong Hyun considered the request. 6 months ago, he would have immediately provided aid. That was the old humanity, the species that believed in mercy and second chances. Your surrender is noted, Dong Hyun replied. You will be picked up by Alliance rescue ships. Tell your commanders what you saw here. Tell them this is just the beginning. He cut the transmission and turned to his crew. Set course for our next target, the Kalari Ammunition Depot in the Rigel system. Meanwhile, on the contested world of Haven Colony, General Mi Young Kong watched Alliance dropships descend through the atmosphere. 50,000 human civilians were trapped on the planet's surface, and enemy forces outnumbered her defense troops 20-1. "Ma'am, the evacuation ships are ready," Lieutenant Young Ho Bei reported. "But the Alliance fleet will intercept them if they try to leave." General Kong studied the tactical display. Traditional military doctrine said she should surrender to save civilian lives, but traditional doctrine was written by the old humanity. "Begin Evacuation Protocol 7, she ordered. Lieutenant Bei looked confused. "Ma'am, Protocol 7 is—" "Scorched Earth." "Yes." General Kong's voice was steady. "If we cannot save this world, we ensure the Alliance gains nothing from taking it." Explosions bloomed across Haven Colony as human forces destroyed everything of value. Mining equipment, power plants, communication arrays, even the orbital elevators that connected the surface to space. Within hours, a thriving human colony became a worthless rock. The Alliance forces landed to find empty cities and poisoned water supplies. General Kang's troops had vanished into the mountains, beginning a guerrilla campaign that would make occupation impossible. "Let them have the planet," General Kang told her officers as they established hidden bases in the wilderness. "They will learn that controlling human territory is different from conquering it." Back on Earth, Dr. Yun Seo Jang stood before the galaxy's largest communication array. As humanity's leading xenobiologist, she had spent her career studying alien species with friendly curiosity. Now that knowledge would become a weapon. "Begin transmission on all frequencies," she ordered. Across the galaxy, every alien communication device received the same broadcast. Dr. Jang's calm voice reached billions of listeners in dozens of species. "People of the galaxy, I am Dr. Yun Seo Jang of Earth. For 2 centuries, humans have served as diplomats and peacemakers. During that time, we learned much about your species. Today, we share that knowledge." The transmission showed detailed information about every Alliance member. Vorthak warriors were vulnerable to sonic attacks that disrupted their inner ear balance. Kalari soldiers could not function in high humidity. Threx troops had poor night vision. Zephyrian pilots suffered from motion sickness in complex maneuvers. This information was gathered during peaceful contact, Dr. Jang continued. Our diplomats, our scientists, our cultural exchange programs. We learned your weaknesses not to exploit them, but to understand you better. Now circumstances have changed. The broadcast revealed psychological profiles, biological limitations, technological weaknesses, even personal information about Alliance commanders. 200 years of friendly cooperation had taught humanity exactly how to destroy their former friends. The Alliance believes humans are weak because we chose peace. You are about to learn the difference between inability and restraint. The transmission ended, leaving the galaxy in stunned silence. Every Alliance species now knew that their former human allies understood them better than they understood themselves. On the space station orbiting Kepler 442, Commander Jae-hyun Oh and his Special Forces team prepared for the most dangerous mission in human history. The Alliance Command Center coordinated all enemy fleet movements across 12 sectors. Destroying it would cripple their ability to fight as a unified force. "Remember, we are not here to steal information," Commander Oh told his team as they suited up in stealth armor. "We are here to ensure they cannot coordinate their forces. The team moved through the station like ghosts, using phase shift technology to walk through walls and quantum scramblers to avoid detection. Alliance guards had no idea death was moving among them. Engineer So-Min Kim reached the main computer core first. "I am uploading the virus now," she whispered into her comm unit. "This should propagate through their entire communication network within hours." "How bad will the damage be?" asked Sergeant Hoon Jae Cho, standing watch at the entrance. "Every ship will receive contradictory orders. Their fleet coordination will collapse completely. Some task forces may even attack each other by mistake." Commander Oh watched Alliance officers working at their stations, unaware that their entire war effort was about to crumble. "Good. Make sure the virus cannot be traced back to human technology." "Already done, sir. They will think it is a random system failure." The team extracted without being detected, leaving behind a computer virus that would spread like wildfire through Alliance networks. Within days, enemy fleets would find themselves unable to communicate or coordinate effectively. As commander, Oh's shuttle departed the station. He opened a secure channel to Earth. "Mission accomplished. The Alliance will be fighting blind from now on." President Jin-Woo Park received the report in his private office, along with updates from across human space. Captain Dong-Hyun Lee had destroyed 7 more supply convoys. General Mi Young Kang's guerrilla forces had eliminated 3 Alliance garrison commanders. Dr. Jang's intelligence broadcast was causing panic in Alliance territories. "Admiral Choi, what is our current tactical assessment?" the President asked. "The Alliance is beginning to understand they are not fighting the humanity they thought they knew," Admiral Choi replied. "Enemy commanders are requesting reinforcements. Some are even pulling back from planned attacks." "Good. How are our colonies responding?" "Evacuation is proceeding ahead of schedule. Every world that cannot be defended is being stripped of resources before abandonment. The Alliance will gain nothing but empty planets." President Jin-Woo walked to his window, looking out at the Earth's night sky. Somewhere among those stars, human forces were proving that 2 centuries of peace had not made them soft. It had made them patient. "Phase 2 begins tomorrow," he decided. "We stop running. We start hunting." Admiral Choi smiled grimly. "The fleet is ready, sir. Prometheus protocols are fully active across all battle groups." "Then let us show the galaxy what happens when humanity stops holding back." In the depths of space, human ships began moving toward enemy territory. No longer the peaceful diplomats who had mediated conflicts for 200 years. No longer the careful negotiators who had built bridges between species. Now they were something else entirely. Something the galaxy had never seen before. Something that would make the Alliance regret the day they decided humanity was weak. The hunted were about to become the hunters, and the galaxy would learn what human anger looked like when it was finally unleashed. Fleet Commander Chan-Woo stood on the bridge of the battleship Vengeance, watching Alliance strongholds burn in the distance. Operation Retribution had begun 6 hours ago, and already 3 major enemy bases were nothing but glowing ruins. Quantum. "Torpedo strike successful on Target 7, his tactical officer reported. "The Kalari defense platform is completely destroyed." Chan-Woo nodded, studying the battle display. Human forces were attacking 12 Alliance positions simultaneously, using coordination that no biological species could match. AI networks linked every ship, every weapon, every decision across light years of space. "Target 8 is requesting surrender," the communications officer announced. "Negative. No prisoners? until the Alliance learns the cost of starting this war. Chan Wu's voice was cold. Continue the attack. The quantum torpedoes phased through space itself, appearing inside. Enemy ships without warning. Unlike traditional weapons, these could not be stopped by shields or armor. They simply materialized within target vessels and detonated. Sir, we are receiving a transmission from the Threx commander on Target 9, the communications officer said. He claims they have human prisoners aboard. Chan Wu paused. 6 weeks ago, he would have immediately ceased fire to protect innocent lives. But the Alliance had taught humanity a hard lesson about mercy when they destroyed New Sol Colony. Scan the ship for human life signs, he ordered. Negative readings, sir. The Threx commander is lying. Then continue firing and broadcast his deception to the Alliance fleet. Let them know their commanders lie even about prisoners. This was part of the new human strategy. Not just military victory, but psychological warfare designed to destroy Alliance morale. Every lie exposed, every weakness revealed, every failure broadcast across enemy communication networks. On the planet Sanctuary, Captain So-Young Han directed the most unusual battle of the war. Her weapon was not plasma cannons or quantum torpedoes, but information. Broadcasting centers across human space transmitted a constant stream of truth to Alliance populations. People of the Kalari Federation. Her voice reached millions of alien civilians. Your government told you that humans attacked without warning. Here is the actual recording of War Master Gralthex demanding humanity's surrender before any shots were fired. The broadcast showed the complete interaction between Dae-Ho Kim and the Vorthak commander. Alliance citizens heard their own leaders, planning humanity's destruction while human diplomats begged for peace. Your soldiers were told that humans are weak and cowardly. Here is footage from the Battle of Crimson Nebula, where a single human destroyer eliminated an entire Vorthak supply fleet. More recordings followed. Alliance forces retreating in panic. Human ships appearing from nowhere to strike at will. Enemy commanders abandoning their troops when the fighting became difficult. Your leaders started this war by murdering diplomats and civilians. They told you it would be easy. Were they correct? Captain Han watched as her broadcasts reached every corner of Alliance space. Some governments tried to block the transmissions, but human technology was decades ahead of what they had revealed during peaceful years. The truth spread faster than official propaganda could counter it. Reports came in from across Alliance territory. Kalari families demanded to know why their children were dying in a war based on lies. Threx workers refused to build military equipment. Zephyrian pilots were deserting their units rather than face human forces. The psychological campaign is working, her aide reported. Alliance recruitment has dropped by 60% in the past week. Meanwhile, in the Outer Rim, Captain Kung-Min Seo commanded the deep strike carrier Retribution as it launched fighter squadrons into the heart of enemy territory. Each fighter was equipped with an AI co-pilot that made human reflexes even more deadly. Dragon Squadron, you are cleared for Attack Run 7, Captain Seo announced. Target is the Arcani battle station at coordinates 47 Alpha. Pilot Gunwoo Shin led his squadron through the asteroid field, protecting the enemy base. His AI co-pilot calculated trajectories that would have been impossible for biological reflexes alone, threading between massive rocks while maintaining attack formation. Contact! Contact! Gunwoo called out as Arcani fighters rose to meet them. 12 enemy vessels incoming! What followed was less a battle than a demonstration. Human fighters moved with precision that seemed supernatural, their AI-assisted pilots anticipating enemy actions before they happened. The Arcani squadron was destroyed without a single human loss. Target acquired, Gunwoo announced as the battle station came into view. Beginning attack run. His fighter dove toward the massive structure, weapons charged and ready. The station's defensive turrets tried to track him, but human pilots could change direction faster than alien targeting systems could follow. Gunwoo's missiles struck the station's reactor core with surgical precision. The explosion lit up the asteroid field like a new star visible from light years away. Target destroyed, he reported calmly. Returning to carrier. Captain SEO smiled as her fighters returned safely. Well done, Dragon Squadron. Set course for Target 12, the hegemony supply depot in the Tau Ceti system. But the Alliance's most desperate gamble was yet to come. Deep in Vorthax space, Warmaster Growlthex assembled the largest fleet in galactic history. 500 warships from 6 species, all aimed at one target, Earth itself. The humans think they are clever, Growlthex told his commanders. They strike at our outposts and supply lines. But we will cut off the head of the serpent. We will destroy their homeworld and end this war. The massive fleet began moving toward human space, confident that numbers would overcome technology. It was the Alliance's final chance to win before human industrial capacity could fully mobilize. But Earth was not defenseless. Admiral Hyojin Bay stood in the Sol Defense Center, watching sensors that showed every ship approaching the human home system. Alliance fleet detected at the edge of the system, her tactical officer reported. 537 vessels. Estimated arrival time, 4 hours. Admiral Bay activated the Sol Defense Network, revealing Earth's true protections. Orbital platforms that had been disguised as research stations powered up weapons arrays. Hidden asteroid bases came online with enough firepower to destroy entire fleets. The defense satellites that aliens thought were communication relays revealed themselves as automated weapons platforms. How many ships are we tracking in the Alliance fleet? Admiral Bay asked. Current count is 537, ma'am. Good. We have 543 defense platforms. Each one can handle at least 2 enemy vessels. The Alliance fleet entered the outer system, expecting to find Earth protected by the small number of ships humanity had admitted to possessing. Instead, they found a fortress. Growlthex stared at his tactical display in disbelief as hundreds of weapon signatures appeared throughout the Sol system. How many ships do the humans have? Those are not ships, Warmaster, his sensor operator replied with growing fear. Those are fixed defenses. Earth itself is the weapon. The first exchange of fire lasted 17 minutes. When it ended, 60 Alliance ships were destroyed and humanity had not lost a single platform. This is impossible, Growlthex snarled. Intelligence said Earth had minimal defenses. Intelligence was wrong. Admiral Bay's voice reached the Alliance. Fleet on all frequencies. We allowed you to see what we wanted you to see. For 200 years you believed humans were peaceful because we chose to be. You confused restraint with weakness. More Alliance ships died as Earth's hidden defenses revealed their true power. Plasma cannons that drew energy directly from the planet's core. Gravity manipulators that crushed enemy vessels from the inside. Quantum disruption fields that made enemy weapons phase out of normal space before they could fire. Warmaster, we must retreat, Growlthex's fleet commander urged. We are being slaughtered. But retreat was already impossible. Human ships had appeared behind the Alliance fleet, cutting off their escape route. Earth's defenders had planned this battle for decades, turning the Sol system into the galaxy's most deadly trap. All ships withdraw immediately, Growlthex finally ordered, but less than half his fleet survived to receive the command. As the broken remains of the Alliance armada fled toward the edge of the system, Admiral Bay opened communications to the Yo galaxy. Every species would hear this message, ally and enemy alike. People of the galaxy, this is Admiral Hyejin Bay of the Seoul Defense Force. The Alliance sent their greatest fleet to destroy our homeworld. In one day, we have broken their military power completely. The transmission showed footage of the battle, hundreds of Alliance ships reduced to debris. Earth's defenses barely scratched despite facing overwhelming numbers. You wanted to see what humans become when diplomacy fails. You wanted to test our strength when pushed to desperation. Today you have your answer. The message continued to broadcast as human fleets moved deeper into Alliance territory. No longer content to simply defend, the hunters had become the hunted. And now the galaxy would learn what human vengeance looked like when fully unleashed. This war will end when the Alliance surrenders unconditionally, not before. In the silence that followed, every species in the galaxy understood that the balance of power had shifted forever. Admiral Sung Ho Yoon stood on the bridge of the dreadnought Final Answer, watching the Vorthak homeworld grow larger in the view screen. 3 months had passed since the failed attack on Earth. 3 months of humanity methodically dismantling every piece of Alliance military power across the galaxy. All fleet units report ready, Admiral, his tactical officer announced. The Nemesis protocol is active and synchronized. Seung-ho nodded, studying the tactical display. 97 human ships surrounded Vorthak Prime, while similar fleets moved on every Alliance homeworld simultaneously. This would be the final battle of the war. Signal from the planetary surface, the communications officer reported. War Master Growlthex wants to speak with you. Put him through. The hologram showed the massive alien warrior standing in what remained of his command center. The great Vorthak looked older, worn down by months of losing battles against an enemy. He had never understood. Human Admiral, Growlthex said, his voice lacking its former confidence. You have won. What do you want? I want you to understand what you unleashed, Shang-ho replied. For 200 years, humanity chose peace. We chose to solve problems with words instead of weapons. We chose to build bridges instead of walls. You were weak, Growlthex insisted, though his words carried no conviction. We were restrained. There is a difference. Shang-ho gestured to the display showing human fleets across the galaxy. Every Alliance homeworld is surrounded. Every military installation is targeted. Every government building is within range of our weapons. The War Master looked at readings showing impossible numbers of human ships. How many vessels do you have? Enough. We spent 2 centuries building defensive fleets while pretending to have only exploration ships. We developed weapons while signing arms limitation treaties. We prepared for the war we hoped would never come. Growlthex's expression showed growing horror as he understood the scope of human deception. Everything was a lie. Everything was preparation. Did you really think a species capable of achieving faster-than-light travel would be unable to build weapons? Did you believe we made peace because we could not make war? On the surface of Vorthak Prime, the final battle began. Alliance forces had gathered every remaining soldier, every functioning weapon, every piece of military equipment that survived months of human attacks. They made their last stand in the capital city where Vorthak warriors had planned humanity's destruction. But this was not the humanity they had expected to fight. Human soldiers moved with mechanical precision, their AI-enhanced armor making them faster and stronger than any biological warrior. Their weapons struck with accuracy that seemed supernatural. Their tactics adapted faster than enemy commanders could respond. General Taeyong Bei led the assault on the Vorthak Command Center, her troops advancing through streets lined with alien defenders. Remember, we target military assets only, no civilian casualties. Ma'am, the Vorthak are using human prisoners as shields, Lieutenant Jun Su Lim reported. General Bei paused, studying the tactical situation. Months ago, such a tactic might have stopped human forces, but the Alliance had taught humanity hard lessons about mercy. Confirmed human prisoners? She asked. Negative, ma'am. Scanner readings show only Vorthak life signs. They are using decoys. Then advance. Broadcast their deception to all Alliance forces. Let them know their commanders lie even in their final moments. The human assault continued with unstoppable momentum. Vorthak warriors, legendary for their strength and ferocity, broke and ran, before soldiers who fought with the cold efficiency of machines. In orbit, Admiral Yoon watched the battle's progress, while Dr. Miran Zhou provided the final piece of humanity's revelation. The Alliance should know the complete truth, Dr. Zhou announced over galaxy-wide communications. Human technological advancement was not accidental. Every trade agreement, every cultural exchange, every diplomatic mission served a dual purpose. The transmission showed detailed records of human intelligence operations spanning 2 centuries. Diplomatic attachés who were actually military analysts, cultural exchange students who mapped alien industrial capacity, trade missions that identified strategic resources and defensive weaknesses. We learned everything about every species in the galaxy, Dr. Zhou continued, not to harm you, but to understand you. Knowledge is humanity's greatest weapon, and we have been gathering it for 200 years. The broadcast revealed the stunning scope of human preparation. Military academies hidden within universities. Weapons research disguised as commercial development. Fleet construction concealed as civilian shipbuilding programs. The Alliance believed they could intimidate humanity because we appeared peaceful. They confused our restraint with inability. They mistook our diplomacy for weakness. As the transmission ended, surrender signals began arriving from across Alliance space. Not just from military commanders, but from civilian governments who finally understood what they faced. The Kalari Federation was the first to capitulate, sending an unconditional surrender to Earth within hours of Dr. Zhou's broadcast. The Threx, Dominion followed, then the Zephyrian Collective. Each government begged for mercy. They had never shown human colonies. On Vorthak Prime, War Master Gralthex stood in his ruined command center as human soldiers secured the building. He had expected to die fighting, but the humans seemed uninterested in revenge. "You are not killing us," he observed as General Bei approached. "Killing you serves no purpose," she replied. "You will live to remember what happens when peaceful. Species are forced to abandon peace." The final battle ended not with glorious combat, but with simple surrender. The great Vorthak Empire, terror of a dozen sectors, laid down their weapons before soldiers who had learned to wage war from the masters of peace. 47 days later, representatives from every Alliance species gathered on Nexus Prime's rebuilt station. The place where human diplomacy had died now witnessed the birth of a new galactic order. Bo-Ra Lee, now promoted to Director of Galactic Affairs, read the terms of surrender to the assembled delegates. She had survived the original station's destruction and lived to see humanity's complete victory. "The Galactic Pact is dissolved," she announced. "All previous treaties are void. New agreements will be negotiated under human oversight." The alien. Delegates sat in stunned silence. Species that had ruled sectors for millennia now found themselves subject to human authority. Military forces will be reduced to internal security levels only. All strategic weapons will be dismantled under human supervision. Any future conflicts will be mediated through human arbitrators. Some delegates started to protest, but Bora continued speaking. Trade agreements, territorial boundaries, and resource allocation will require human approval. Species that demonstrate peaceful cooperation will receive preferential treatment. Those that show aggressive tendencies will face economic and military restrictions. The new order was complete. Humanity had not conquered the galaxy through traditional occupation, but through the simple demonstration that they could. Every species now understood that human peace had been a choice, not a necessity. Years passed. The galaxy adapted to its new reality. Conflicts still occurred, but they were small, local affairs that human mediators resolved quickly. No species dared to challenge the new order directly. New alien civilizations made first contact with humanity regularly, approaching with the careful respect that came from galactic reputation. Ambassador In-Ho Quan greeted each new species with the same diplomatic courtesy that Dae-Ho Kim had once offered. But now, every alien delegation understood what lay beneath humanity's peaceful exterior. The final scene took place in the Memorial Hall, built where the original human embassy had stood. Statues honored the 17 humans who had died when diplomacy failed, including Ambassador Dae-Ho Kim Bora Lee, now elderly but still serving as humanity's chief diplomat, often visited the memorial. Young human diplomats would ask her about the old days, when peace required constant negotiation instead of simple authority. Was it better then? A young attaché once asked. When we had to convince other species to choose peace? Bora considered the question while looking at Dae-Ho's statue. It was more honest, she finally said. Back then, peace required everyone to choose it every day. Now it exists because the alternative is unthinkable. The attaché studied the memorial plaques. Do you think we will ever return to the old ways? Perhaps. When the galaxy forgets what humanity looks like, when pushed to war, when new species arise that never learned to fear human anger. Bora smiled sadly. But that day is far in the future. For now, peace exists, because we proved that some things are too dangerous to awaken. The memorial stood as a reminder of both human capability and human restraint, a testament to the species that had chosen peace for 2 centuries, then chose war for 3 months, and in doing so had reshaped the galaxy forever. The inscription at the base of the memorial was written in every known language, but the human version was simplest: peace through understanding. Understanding through consequence. Humanity had tried diplomacy first. When that failed, they had shown the galaxy what lay beneath their peaceful nature. The lesson was learned well.